The strange signal came on a Tuesday. At first, the team at NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Station thought it was a glitch. The pattern was too regular, too perfect to be natural. Susan Miller was the first to notice it. She had been watching the monitors for 8 hours straight when the signal appeared. "Hey, come look at this," she called to her supervisor. Within hours, the news spread through secure channels. Within days, it reached the highest levels of government. The signal wasn't random noise. It was a message. First contact. Jack Harrison sat in a plain government office as officials explained why they had called him. At 45, Jack had spent most of his life training for space. He had been to the moon 3 times and Mars once. He was calm, smart, and good with people. Now they needed him for something much bigger. "The signal contains coordinates and instructions," said the NASA director. "They want to meet us." "They?" Jack asked. "The Galactic Council." The room went quiet. For a week, world leaders had been meeting in secret. The aliens had sent details about themselves. They were not one species, but many, 37 different civilizations working together. They had been watching Earth for decades and now felt humans were ready for evaluation. Evaluation for what? Jack asked. "To see where we fit in their hierarchy," explained the president's science advisor. "Every species gets ranked." Jack looked at the files in front of him. "And you want me to lead our team?" "You're the best choice we have," said the Secretary General of the United Nations. "We're sending scientists, diplomats, and security. We need someone they will respect." 3 months later, Jack stood in the hangar looking at humanity's best hope, the experimental ship Earth and Emissary. It wasn't built for this mission, but engineers had worked day and night to make it ready. It was the only vessel humans had that could reach the meeting point using the faster-than-light drive the Council had shared in their message. Lisa Coleman joined him by the viewing window. At 38, she was the world's foremost expert in communication theory and had created a translation system for the alien languages. "Nervous?" she asked. Jack nodded. "Wouldn't you be?" Lisa smiled. "I've spent my life dreaming about talking to aliens. Now I'm about to meet 37 different species. I'm terrified and excited." The final team included 15 humans, the best Earth had to offer. Besides Jack and Lisa, there was Daniel Ortiz, the engineer who could fix anything. Karen Mitchell, former athlete turned security expert. William Grant, who had negotiated peace deals in the world's worst conflicts. And 10 others, each chosen for their unique skills. On launch day, millions watched around the world. Some prayed, some protested. Most just hoped these 15 people would represent humanity well. Inside the ship, Jack addressed his team before takeoff. "We don't know what they want from us," he said. "We don't know if we'll pass their tests. But we know this: we are the first humans to meet the galaxy. Whatever happens, whatever they think of us, we will show them who we really are." The journey took 17 days using the new drive. 17 days of preparation, study, and worry. Then, finally, they saw it. The massive Council station orbiting a gas giant in the Proxima Centauri system. It was bigger than any city on Earth, a spinning wheel of metal and light. As they approached, a voice came through their communication system. It spoke perfect English. "Human delegation," it said. "You are cleared to dock at Port 7. The Galactic Council welcomes you. Your evaluation begins tomorrow." Jack looked at his team. This was it. First contact. Humanity's future would depend on what happened next. "Let's show them what humans can do," he said. The docking procedure went smoothly. Jack led his team through the airlock and into the Council station. They were met by 3 aliens who waited in a line. The one in the middle stepped forward. It had blue skin, 4 arms, and eyes that seemed too large for its face. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move. Instead, a small device on its chest glowed. "I am Salter, Station Liaison. These are my assistants." It gestured to the creatures beside it. One looked like a tall insect. The other was almost human-shaped but covered in short fur. "We will show you to your quarters. Tomorrow, you meet the executive committee." The hallways of the station were huge. Some areas had different gravity. Some had strange lighting. Everything was built to serve many different types of bodies. Jack noticed how the aliens watched them, like they were studying every move. Lisa whispered to Jack, "They're surprised we can walk normally in their gravity." Their quarters were comfortable enough. A series of rooms with beds, food stations, and cleaning facilities. The team gathered after settling in. "First impressions?" Jack asked. "They're advanced," Daniel Ortiz said. He held up a small piece of metal he had found on the floor. "This isn't just metal. It's a composite that changes properties based on temperature, beyond anything we have on Earth." "They don't expect much from us," Karen Mitchell added. "I saw how they looked at us, like we're children." The next morning, Salter returned to escort them to the executive committee. They entered a massive circular room with 5 different aliens seated at a raised platform. Each one was completely different from the others. A tall, thin alien with skin like polished stone spoke first. "I am Zendar, first chair of the executive committee. Welcome, humans. We have observed your planet for many cycles. Now we will determine your place in the galactic community." The committee explained the process. All new species faced evaluation. The tests would measure physical abilities, technology understanding, problem solving, diplomacy, and more. Based on the results, humans would be ranked from basic to superior. "No new species has achieved above developing status in over 1,000 years," said another committee member, who looked like a collection of floating gas bubbles. "We expect humans will rank as basic or emerging at best." Jack stepped forward. "We're ready for any challenge." The committee seemed amused. Then one of the aliens pointed to Daniel. "Your equipment is primitive. Our records show it malfunctioned during your journey here." Daniel nodded. "The air recycler had problems, but I fixed it." "Impossible," said the bubble alien. "That system requires specialized tools to repair." Daniel smiled. "I made do with what we had. Would you like to see how I did it?" The committee members looked at each other. Then Zender nodded. Daniel pulled tools from his pocket and explained his solution. The aliens whispered among themselves. Finally, Zender spoke again. "Interesting. Perhaps humans are more adaptable than we expected. However, one clever fix does not change your species' standing. The formal trials begin tomorrow." Later, back in their quarters, the team discussed the meeting. "They're underestimating us," Lisa said. "Good," replied Jack. "Let them." William Grant, the negotiator, shook his head. "I'm not so sure. I watched them carefully. They're testing us already. Everything is a test. How we walk, how we talk, how we eat. Then we'll pass every test," Jack said. "Starting tomorrow." That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He stood by the window in his room, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, depending on them. He remembered the president's last words before they left. Show them humanity's best. Tomorrow, they would do exactly that. The first trial took place in a large, empty room with walls that could change shape. Jack and his team entered to find Zender and 2 other council members waiting. "This is the physical capability trial," Zender explained. "Most species excel in one area, but fail in others. The Krell have strength but lack endurance. The Volians are fast but weak." The test began with basic movements: running, jumping, climbing. The room changed to create obstacles. Walls rose from the floor. Platforms appeared in the air. The gravity shifted. Karen Mitchell took the lead. Before becoming a security officer, she had been an Olympic athlete. She moved through the course with ease, her body adjusting quickly to each new challenge. The council members watched with growing interest. "Your gravity is slightly stronger than Earth's," Karen explained when she finished. "But human bodies are adaptable. We train in different conditions. Next came tests of fine motor control. The humans had to manipulate small objects, solve physical puzzles, and demonstrate precision. Lisa's delicate work with the translation devices proved valuable here. "Impressive for a species with only 2 arms," muttered one council member. The second trial focused on technology. Daniel led the team through tests of their understanding of various devices. None of the technology was familiar, but the principles behind them were not impossible to grasp. "It's like seeing the history of human tech development, but going in different directions," Daniel told Jack during a break. "They solved the same problems we did, just using different methods." The council seemed surprised when the humans not only understood the alien devices, but suggested improvements to some of them. "These power relays waste energy," Daniel pointed out. "If you reconfigure them like this, you'd get better efficiency." The third trial was diplomatic reasoning. The humans were presented with conflicts between fictional species and asked to propose solutions. William Grant shined here, drawing on his experience with Earth's most difficult peace negotiations. During one scenario, William didn't just solve the problem. He found a solution that benefited both sides in ways the council hadn't considered. "The key is understanding what each side truly values," William explained. "Often, they want different things and can both win." As the day ended, Jack noticed the council members talking intensely among themselves. Their body language, though alien, showed clear signs of concern. Back in their quarters, the team celebrated their success. "Did you see their faces, or whatever they have instead of faces, when Karen completed that obstacle course in half the expected time?" Lisa laughed. "Or when Daniel fixed that broken scanner using just the parts they gave him," added William. Jack nodded but remained cautious. "We did well today, but this is just the beginning. They're watching us more carefully now." He was right. The next morning, their escort had doubled in size. More aliens lined the hallways as they walked to the fourth trial. Word was spreading through the station about the humans. Zoltar approached Jack before they entered the trial chamber. "Your performance is unexpected," the blue alien said. "Some council members are disturbed." "Why?" Jack asked. "Isn't this what the trials are for? To see what we can do?" "Yes, but—" Zoltar hesitated. "No species has performed this well across all categories. It creates complications." "What kind of complications?" Before Zoltar could answer, the doors opened, and the executive committee called them in. Jack noticed 2 new members had joined the panel. Their expressions were impossible to read, but their presence suggested the humans had attracted higher-level attention. The fourth trial was about to begin. The fourth trial tested creative problem-solving. The humans were given challenges that seemed impossible. They had to build a bridge with materials that wouldn't support weight. They had to send messages through barriers that blocked all signals. They had to create light in a room designed to absorb all energy. Each time, the humans found a way. They worked together, combining their different skills. When one approach failed, they tried another. The council watched in silence. During a break, Daniel noticed something strange about their quarters. "There's a seam here that doesn't match the rest of the wall," he whispered to Lisa. They examined it carefully and found tiny devices hidden in the walls. "They're watching us even when we're alone," Lisa said. That night, Jack gathered the team. "Speak quietly," he said. "We're being monitored." "Why?" Karen asked. "The trials are during the day." "Because how we act when we think no one is watching matters to them," William suggested. "It's part of the evaluation." "There's something else," Lisa said. "I was analyzing the language database they gave us, and I found references to humans from before our contact." "That's impossible," Jack said. "We've never met aliens before. According to these records, they have met humans. The information is locked, but the references are there." The next morning, Jack confronted Zender before the fifth trial began. "You've met humans before us. Why hide that fact?" The council chamber went silent. The aliens looked at each other. Finally, Zender spoke. How did you discover this? That's not an answer, Jack said. The alien that looked like gas bubbles floated forward. 200 of your years ago, a ship left your planet. It was primitive, a generation ship carrying 10,000 humans to your star system's outer planets. They vanished. We found wreckage near the Krell border. Earth lost contact with the Hope colony ship, Jack said. We thought it was destroyed in an accident. It was not an accident, said another council member. But this information is not relevant to your trials. Not relevant. Jack's voice rose. You've been judging us while hiding the fact that you've encountered humans before. What else are you hiding? The council members spoke in rapid, angry tones to each other. Finally, Zender raised a hand for silence. The trials will continue. This complication changes nothing. But Jack could see it changed everything. The council was nervous now. The human delegation had done something unexpected again. They had found hidden information. The fifth trial tested ethics and morality. The humans were given difficult scenarios with no clear right answer. They had to decide who would live and die in emergencies. They had to balance the needs of many against the rights of few. Eric Johnson, the team's biologist, led this trial. His calm, thoughtful approach impressed even the most skeptical council members. The key is not having a perfect answer, Eric explained. It's understanding that every choice has consequences and taking responsibility for them. After the fifth trial, the council called for a recess. The human team returned to their quarters to find them completely rearranged. They removed the surveillance devices, Daniel confirmed after checking. Because we found them, Lisa said. They're adapting to us as much as we're adapting to them. That night, Jack couldn't sleep again. He walked the halls of their section, thinking about what they had learned. A quiet voice startled him. Human Jack Harrison. Jack turned to see a small alien he hadn't met before. It looked fragile, with transparent skin showing internal organs. Who are you? Jack asked. A friend. I must speak with you in private. The council is divided about humans. Some fear you. Others see opportunity. Neither group has your best interests in mind. What do you mean? The alien looked around nervously. The final trials are not what they appear to be. There is much more at stake than your classification. Before Jack could ask more questions, the alien hurried away as footsteps approached from around the corner. Jack told his team about the strange meeting in the hallway. They sat in a circle in Lisa's room, speaking in hushed voices. We need to learn more, William said. This alien, whoever it was, knows something important. I've been looking deeper into the council records, Lisa said. They gave us limited access, but I found ways around their security. It's not just that they met humans before. They've been studying Earth for centuries. Why? Asked Karen. I'm not sure yet, but I keep finding references to something called human potential. They seem both interested in and afraid of it. The sixth trial began the next morning. This one tested crisis management. The humans were placed in a simulation of a space station in danger. Systems were failing. Fires were spreading. Aliens of different species needed rescue. Samantha White, the physicist, quickly figured out that the simulation was based on a real event. This isn't just a test, she told Jack. This happened on a council station 10 years ago. They're seeing if we can solve a problem they couldn't. The team worked together smoothly. Jack coordinated their efforts. Karen led rescue operations. Daniel fixed critical systems. Lisa communicated with the panicked alien victims. They saved everyone in the simulation and stabilized the station. When it ended, even Zender seemed impressed. No other species has completed this scenario successfully, the stone-skinned alien admitted. The seventh and final trial was held the next day. All 5 executive committee members were present, along with dozens of other council representatives. The room was tense. This is the intelligence assessment, Zender explained. It will measure your species' overall cognitive abilities. The test was unlike anything they expected. Instead of solving problems or answering questions, they were asked to teach council members something new. "Show us how humans think," instructed Zender. After a quick discussion, the team decided to demonstrate human creativity. Eric explained how Earth's diverse ecosystems inspired human innovation. Daniel showed how humans adapted tools for multiple uses. Lisa talked about how human languages evolved. Samantha explained how humans used storytelling to understand complex ideas. When they finished, the council chamber was completely silent. Then, slowly, the aliens began talking all at once. Some seemed excited. Others seemed alarmed. Zender called for order. "The trials are complete. The executive committee will now deliberate on humanity's classification. You will return to your quarters until summoned." The deliberation lasted 3 days. 3 long days of waiting and wondering. The human team was not allowed to leave their quarters except for meals. They saw other aliens watching them in the dining area, some curious, some clearly hostile. On the morning of the 4th day, they were summoned to the Great Council Chamber. It was filled with hundreds of aliens from all 37 council species. The executive committee sat at the center. Zender stood. "After careful consideration of all evidence, the Galactic Council has reached a decision regarding humanity's classification." The chamber grew still. In all of council history, only one species has achieved the highest classification of superior. Until today. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Human beings of Earth are hereby classified as a superior species, with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities this entails. The chamber erupted in noise. Some aliens cheered, others shouted in protest. Several delegates walked out. Jack looked at his team. They should have felt proud, but something didn't feel right. The mysterious alien's warning echoed in his mind. Lisa leaned close to Jack. "Look at their faces. They're not happy about this decision." She was right. The executive committee members didn't look pleased. They looked worried. "What does superior classification actually mean?" Jack asked Zender directly. The stone-skinned alien's expression was impossible to read. "It means, human Jack Harrison, that everything changes. For you, for us, for the galaxy." After the announcement, the human team was moved to new quarters. The rooms were larger, more comfortable, and located in a section of the station reserved for high-ranking officials. Guards stood outside their doors, for protection. Salter claimed. "Your new status brings new dangers," the blue alien explained. "Not all council species accept the decision." Jack didn't believe this was the whole truth. "What aren't you telling us about superior classification?" Zalter looked uncomfortable. "You will receive a full briefing tomorrow." That night, the team gathered in Jack's new quarters. "We need to contact Earth," Jack said. "They should know what's happening." "I tried," Lisa said. "All our communications are blocked. They say it's temporary, until our new status is processed, whatever that means." "I don't like this," Karen said. "It feels like we're being isolated." "Look what I found." Daniel held up a small data device. "This was hidden in my new room. Someone wanted us to find it. They connected it to their equipment." The device contained thousands of files about the only other superior species in Council history, the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie were classified as superior 300 years ago, Lisa read. They were given access to advanced Council technology, appointed to leadership positions. And then, Jack asked. They led a Council fleet into a conflict with a non-Council race. The entire fleet was destroyed. The Valkyrie home planet was attacked in retaliation. They'd been extinct for over 200 years. The room fell silent. "They're setting us up," Williams said finally. "Superior isn't an honor. It's a target." The next morning, the executive committee held a private meeting with the human team. They explained that superior status came with certain responsibilities. "The Council faces threats from outside our borders," Zender said. "Superior species are expected to take leadership roles in our defense. You want us to fight your wars," Jack said. Not our wars. The galaxy's wars. Zender displayed a map showing a region of space beyond Council territory. The Draken Collective has been expanding aggressively. They've attacked 3 Council outposts in the past year. And you want humans to lead the response, Jack said. Your species shows remarkable tactical thinking and adaptability. You achieved in days what took the Valkyrie years of testing. Jack looked at his team. We need time to consider this request, and we need to consult with Earth. Of course, Zender agreed too quickly. We've already sent a delegation to Earth with the news of your classification. They will explain everything to your leaders. After the meeting, Amanda Patel, their security specialist, pulled Jack aside. Something's not right. I checked our ship while they were moving our quarters. Someone tampered with the engines. We couldn't leave if we wanted to. Jack nodded grimly. They're not letting us go home until they get what they want. Later that day, a message arrived from Earth. The Council delegation had delivered the news of humanity's superior status. World leaders were celebrating. The delegation had also offered advanced technology in exchange for human military expertise. They're dividing us, William said, offering Earth's governments what they want most, advanced tech, while keeping us here. That evening, 3 different Council species approached Jack privately. Each offered a separate alliance with humanity. Each warned against trusting the Executive Committee. The Council is fracturing, Jack told his team. Our classification is causing political chaos. Good, said Lisa. Maybe we can use that. How? Lisa smiled. They think they understand humans because we passed their tests. But they've never seen how creative humans can be when backed into a corner. What are you suggesting? Jack asked. We give them exactly what they fear most, Lisa said. Human ingenuity. Lisa's plan was simple but risky. If the Council wanted to use humans as their front line in a war, they would show the Council exactly what humans were capable of when pushed too far. First, we need more information, Lisa said, about the Council, about this war, about everything. The team split up. With their new superior status, they had access to areas of the station previously off-limits. They used this to gather intelligence. Amanda discovered something disturbing in the security files. There was a faction within the Council that pushed for our superior classification. They overruled concerns from other members. Why would they do that if it comes with such power? Karen asked. Because it's not really power, Jack realized. It's a way to use us without taking responsibility. William had been speaking with representatives from smaller Council species. The Executive Committee has been losing support. Many species feel ignored or exploited. They needed a way to unite the Council. A common enemy, Jack said, or in this case, a scapegoat if things go wrong. Daniel had examined their ship more carefully. The damage is worse than we thought. They didn't just disable it. They rigged it to fail catastrophically if we try to leave. Can you fix it? Jack asked. Daniel nodded. Yes, but not quickly, and not without them noticing. Samantha had been studying the Council's scientific database. The Draken Collective isn't what the Council described. They're not aggressors. They're refugees. Their home system was destroyed in a stellar event. They're looking for new worlds to settle. So the Council is lying about the threat, Jack said. Not completely, Samantha replied. The Draken are desperate. They've taken worlds by force when denied peacefully. But they tried diplomacy first. Eric had made a surprising discovery in the medical database. The Hope Colony ship wasn't completely destroyed. There were survivors. The Council has been holding them somewhere called Facility 12. This changed everything. Not only was the Council manipulating them, but they were also holding human captives. Jack called the team together to finalize their plan. Tomorrow is the formal ceremony where we officially accept superior status. That's when we make our move. The next day, the Great Council chamber was filled with representatives from all 37 species. The Executive Committee waited on their platform. Jack and his team stood before them, dressed in formal uniforms provided by the Council. Zender began the ceremony. Today, we welcome humanity into the highest rank of galactic civilization. With superior status comes great responsibility. The human delegation will now pledge to uphold Council law and lead our defense forces against all threats. Jack stepped forward. This was the moment they had planned for. The human delegation thanks the Galactic Council for this honor. He began formally. Before we accept, we wish to address all Council members. Zender looked surprised but nodded permission. During our time here, we have learned much about the Council. Jack continued. We've learned that you've encountered humans before us. We've learned that you're holding survivors from the Hope Colony ship. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many Council members looked shocked. We've learned that the previous superior species, the Valkyrie, were sent to fight and die in a Council war. We've learned that our ship was sabotaged to prevent our return to Earth. The murmurs grew louder. The executive committee members shifted uncomfortably. We've learned that the Draken Collective are refugees, not aggressors. And we've learned that certain Council members deliberately engineered our superior classification to use humanity as pawns in a political game. The chamber erupted in chaos. Some aliens shouted in anger. Others demanded explanations from the executive committee. Order. Zender called, but the noise only grew. In the confusion, Amanda slipped away. She had a different mission: to find Facility 12 and the human survivors being held there. Jack raised his voice over the noise. But the most important thing we've learned is that the Council has greatly underestimated humanity. As chaos filled the Council chamber, Jack signaled to his team. This was the moment they had prepared for. Lisa stepped forward with a small device Daniel had built. She connected it to the Council's communication system. Suddenly, screens around the chamber lit up with evidence. Documents, recordings, and data files that proved everything Jack had said. We don't reject superior status, Jack announced when the noise finally died down. We embrace it, but on our terms, not yours. This is unprecedented, Zender protested. You cannot dictate terms to the Council. Actually, we can, William said, stepping forward with an ancient-looking document. According to the original Council Charter, Section 37, a superior species has the right to propose reforms to Council governance. The Executive Committee looked stunned. Lisa had found this obscure provision buried deep in the Council's legal archives. We invoke this right now, Jack said firmly. Our first reform: transparency. All Council decisions will be open to review by all member species. More screens activated around the room, showing hidden files about secret Council operations, including Facility 12. Our second reform: democracy. The Executive Committee will be elected by all Council species, not appointed by the founding members. The smaller, less powerful alien species in the chamber began to cheer. They had long felt ignored by the Council leadership. Our third reform: diplomacy before force. The Council will open peaceful negotiations with the Draken Collective immediately. Before the Executive Committee could respond, the chamber doors burst open. Amanda entered, accompanied by a group of humans dressed in strange clothing. The survivors from the Hope Colony ship. These are our people, Jack said. Hidden away for 200 years while you studied them. They will be returning home with us. One of the colony survivors, an older woman, stepped forward. For generations, we were told we were the last humans alive. That Earth had been destroyed. We were experiments to them. The revelation sent fresh shockwaves through the Council chamber. Even some Executive Committee members looked horrified. They hadn't known about this either. In the confusion, Eric approached Jack. Daniel says the ship is ready. He bypassed their sabotage. Jack nodded and raised his voice again. Humanity accepts superior status with these reforms. Earth will join the Galactic Council as an equal partner, not as a weapon to be used and discarded. And if we refuse these terms, Zender asked, his stone face unreadable. Then we leave, Jack said simply. We take our people and go home. We tell Earth everything we've learned about the Council, about your deceptions, about how you plan to sacrifice us in your war." The room fell silent. The Council representatives looked at each other, then at the Executive Committee. Finally, a small alien pushed through the crowd, the same one who had warned Jack in the hallway days before. "I am Talith of the Navari," it said. "My species was among the founders of the Council, though we have been ignored for centuries. I support the human reforms." One by one, other representatives stood and voiced their support. The Executive Committee found themselves increasingly isolated. Zender conferred briefly with the other committee members, then turned to Jack. "The Council accepts your terms. The reforms will be implemented." The chamber erupted in cheers. Many species saw this as a new beginning for the Council. As the celebrations continued, Jack gathered his team. "We did it," Lisa said. "We changed an interstellar government in less than a week." "That's why they regret calling us superior," Jack smiled. "They thought they were getting obedient soldiers. Instead, they got a revolution." 3 days later, the Earthen emissary prepared to leave, carrying the human delegation and the Hope colony survivors back to Earth. The ship had been repaired and upgraded with Council technology. As they departed, Jack looked back at the massive Council station. The Council had declared humans superior, thinking it would control them. Instead, humanity had transformed the Council itself. "Ready to go home?" Lisa asked, joining him at the viewport. Jack nodded. "Yes. We have quite a story to tell."